Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie if you've never been here before, and on this channel I upload whatever I want. This is my first video of 2025. Today is actually the 1st of January, so Happy New Year everybody. If you couldn't tell in my voice, I am getting over having the flu. I started feeling sick on Christmas Day, but it was very minor, just a little sore throat, and it escalated into full-on bedridden flu. Today is the first day that I'm feeling actually a lot more like myself, and I don't feel like I am rotting away. Really, my only symptom left is this voice and a cough, but I am just so happy to no longer be bedridden. I actually wanted this video to go up today, the 1st of January, but the days that I had planned to finish my journal were spent in bed instead. So I did have to kind of push back my timeline of things. So you're seeing this on Saturday the 4th. I think 2025 is going to be the year of reading for me. I'm really pushing for that. I've been a reader my whole life, but in the past year or so, especially, I've really been upping my reading. So my reading goal this year I can finally set on Goodreads. I just realized that right now. It's the 1st of January. My reading goal this year is going to be 32 books, which might not sound like a lot to you guys, but it's almost 10 more than I read last year I guess in 2023. So my reading is picking up, and who knows, maybe I'll surpass 2025 by 10 books too. So it's exciting. I'm really hoping that this reading journal that I'm about to show you guys will help me and motivate me to read, but also that it will just keep me organized with my reading, and I'm hoping that it will help me produce some more book related content. So my channel might include more bookish content, which I hope others are excited for, or at least are excited for me, because I'm really excited about it. So I do want to show you my 2025 reading journal setup. This is my first reading journal I've ever made, so please have some grace for me. But I am very happy with how it turned out, and I'm proud of myself for not letting my perfectionist ways get in the way. So last little disclaimer, please ignore my voice during the voiceover. I know I don't sound pretty, but I really wanted to get this video out for you guys. Anyways, let's get into the setup of this journal. So here I am showing you all of the tools that I will be using to set up this journal. A lot of these items I've had sitting in my basket of junk for a while, and I'm just now putting them to use, but some I recently bought just to use in my journal. Up first are these two Tombow brush pens. They are both in black, however one has a hard tip and one is soft. Despite the new packaging, I've had these just sitting collecting dust for like at least 2 years. You will see a few variations of these gel pens. I don't know the brand, but they came in a pack on Amazon and I received them as a gift in my stocking. I'm also using a pencil. This one is a teacher's favorite, a Dixon Ticonderoga, and then just a standard pink eraser. And then I am using a glue tape dispenser. However, this one was giving me a tough time, which you will see, and eventually it runs out, so I switched to double-sided tape. These are Fisker's crafting scissors that cut out a cloud shape, and then these are just my classic everyday scissors from Scotch. I believe these came in a pack of 3. This is a little heart-shaped hole puncher. I have no idea where it's from, and I don't even use it in the journal, but I thought it might have been cute to use it. Then for the exciting stuff, I purchased washi tapes from Hobby Lobby, and I thought in the end they all kind of matched each other, so I got a couple checkered ones, one in black and one in beige. I got these 2 black and white floral tapes, these 2 pink ones. One is in a gingham pattern and the other is a little hard to see, but it has a sort of vintage design with horse-drawn carriages and castles. And then finally this one with books, of course. I will be using my very old zebra mild liners. I also grabbed my Papermate Flare pens out of my teacher tote. I just love the way my handwriting looks with these pens, so I wanted to try them out in my journal. I also grabbed my Prismacolor colored pencils to color in small little details. And finally, the star of the show, my reading journal. This is from the brand Exceed. I was gifted this journal back in 2021, and it has been used for lots of different things, but this year I want to use it as my reading and junk journal. This is some leftover craft paper I ripped out of an old gift bag. And here's an assortment of stickers I have collected over the many years I have bought new planners. You will see that a lot of them are teacher and academics related, as I was a longtime student and now I am a teacher. Here is a scrapbooking paper pack I bought recently for other projects, but I thought they would also be cute to incorporate into my journal. I bought these stickers and the paper pack you will see next specifically for my reading journal, just based off of how they looked individually, but I didn't realize until I got home that they were both dried / pressed floral related, so I think that's cool. Here is a stamp set that I bought, knowing that I had 2 ink pads that were hand-me-downs from my mom at home. Here are said ink pads. One is in jet black, the other is in a navy blue color, and they are both at least 10 years old. Like, I am not kidding. Alright, let's finally get into the setup of my journal. I wanted to first swatch all the markers and pens I would be using to make sure that they had no bleed through. Luckily they didn't. I do have a pack of Ohuhu markers that I use to color, but I just already knew that these would not work, so I was really hoping that all of my other markers would not bleed through. Don't pay attention to most of the names. If the pen didn't have a written name on it, I just made it up. Here I am showing you the front pages of my journal. As you can see, this journal came with pre-printed index pages, which I think are nice, but unfortunately I started using them when I first got this journal. I am hoping that I can cover that page up with the junk journal spread and then salvage the rest. I got this card in a gift that I got for Christmas, and I immediately knew I wanted to include it in this journal. I just didn't know how, but if you stick through to the end, you will see me make something with it. And then the other 2 pages are just 2 junk journal spreads I made a few months ago. I apologize, this video is all over the place, but here are a couple more tools I used throughout the video. This is a pack of pens I received with a planner from Erin Condren. This is a pack of Jelly Roll white pens. I really like the size 10 pen to highlight with. And these are a few different types of markers, all from Crayola, specifically the Art with Edge set. One box is glitter markers, another is thick and thin markers, and the last box is wedge-tipped markers. Alright, up first is my 25 in 2025 spread. The 25 books I chose for this are not ones you would typically see on a list like this. The twist is that these are all books on my physical TBR. If you are new to my channel, then you may not know, I am working on a Tackling the TBR series where I try to get to the bottom of my physical TBR. This is a spoiler for a future page, but I am trying to complete the series in 2025, which is why I chose these books specifically. I should have allowed the glitter marker to dry longer because I messed this up, but I am proud of myself for just letting it go. You will see that this is a recurring theme throughout the video. The next spread is my 2025 reading goals. When I was recording this video, I wasn't sure how many more books I would finish before January 1st, which is why you won't see me write down a specific number, but I can now tell you that I read 31 books in 2024, making my new goal for 2025 32 books. I have been doing this for the past like 5 years, but I always just up my goal for the next year by one book. This makes the new goal seem way more achievable, and then by the end of the year, I feel proud of myself if I surpass it by way more. My plan for this spread is to color in a box for each book I read until I reach my goal, and I will color it in based on what I rated the book. This is the next day. Here I am showing you a new sticker added to the front from my most recent coffee bean order. I was so proud of myself when I finished the spread, so I went to show my husband, and he informed me that I did in fact write the wrong year, so I had to come back and fix that. Alright, it's the next day again. I purchased a new book off of pangobooks, and the seller sent over a cute little note and some stickers that I am just so excited to use in my spreads, so I really wanted to show those to you. This next spread is going to be my rating system page. I loved the way I did this font on this page, and you will see me use it again on a couple other spreads. I saw this on Pinterest and I just had to recreate it. Speaking of Pinterest, I just wanted to mention that I got a lot of my inspiration from spreads that I saw here on YouTube, Pinterest, and TikTok from a wide variety of different creators. But I felt myself gravitating toward the same 3 to 4 creators on YouTube specifically that I want to credit. These creators are Tori Between Pages, Plan with M, and Kyrah Edwards, who are all linked in the description below. I was very inspired by these creators for reasons related to both personal aesthetic as well as the spread's setup and purpose. There is one spread in here that was heavily inspired by Rachel Catherine here on YouTube, and that is the book club spread that you will see soon. The next spread is my bookshelfie spread. My goal for this spread is to have a place to document what books I read throughout the year. My plan is to color in each book using the same color code I used on my 2025 reading goals page. I drew out 35 books, but if I surpass this number of books, then I will just make an extended version of this shelf on another page later on down the line in my journal. I also just drew out little trinkets and things that I thought represented me well to break up the space on my shelves. You will also see me almost have a mental breakdown simply because I messed up on the title, but my kind husband came into the rescue and tried to help me fix it. Time for my physical TBR. As I mentioned before, my goal is to finish my Tackling the TBR series, meaning I need to clear my physical TBR that I have collected since before the 4th of July, 2024. There are 44 books left for me to complete, and then I also have 11 more books that I have acquired since starting that series. I've seen this technique of highlighting every other line done in a ton of reading journals, and I love it. I feel like it really helps add a little something to the spread, but it also makes it easier on the eyes to break up the writing once it's all filled up. might be a little biased, but this is my favorite spread. This is my Tackling the TBR spread, and I am so proud of it because I came up with the idea for this spread all on my own. In order to complete this series, I need to read 44 more books on my physical TBR, making a total of 22 more video installments to the series. I know that math isn't mathing with a goal of 32 books for the year, but listen, I already said this is going to be my reading year, okay? I believe in myself, and I hope you believe in me too. I also love this spread because it's the first time I used Dutch door style pages, and I used this vermilion color mild liner to match the YouTube aesthetic. I think it's going to look so cool when it has all the printed out thumbnails from my videos throughout the year. Like I said, I need to make 22 more installments to complete this challenge, so if you've been keeping up with that series, then you are in luck. Also, I appreciate you. Here is my series tracker. I only wrote down the series that I am currently in the middle of or that I know I will for sure start in 2025, which is about 9 or 10 series. But after looking over my Goodreads want to read list, there are like 20 more series that I want to start. So I think while I will only really need this double page spread this year, it's possible that in 2026 I will need to make this one into a Dutch door style spread. My friend Anna is starting a book club this year, so I wanted to make a spread dedicated to that, and I love how this one turned out. My goal for this spread is just to simply glue in the covers for each book we read each month, and then I will also write in the title and my personal rating for the books. Our book for January has already been picked, and we are going to be reading All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. So I picked this one up from my local library already, and I'm excited to dive into it. This is my anticipated releases spread. I did the bubble balloon style letters again, and I just love it. I almost wish I did all of them this way, but I really didn't want to stick to a theme. I just wanted to let my creative juices flow for each individual spread. I went through Goodreads' upcoming releases list for at least the books that have been announced so far, and I wrote down the ones I am somewhat interested in. I know you're probably thinking the math is not mathing once again, considering I already have 44 books on my physical TBR that I have to read this year, with a goal of only 32 books, but please just let a girl live, okay? It's another new day. Here I am setting up my buzzword reading challenge spread. This setup is pretty much a direct copy from Plan with M, since hers just seems so functional, and I also didn't really see very many people completing this challenge and documenting it in their journals. I've talked about it many times before, but for those who don't know, the buzzword reading challenge is hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala here on YouTube. Her channel will also be linked in the description, where you can go check out her videos, where she will be better at sharing the details of the challenge. This year, she announced a second version of the challenge, so not only is there a challenge based on titles, but there is also one based on the covers of the books as well. I really am just focused on the titles challenge, but I thought it would be fun to see how far I can get with the covers version too, because why not? I'm not going to be too hard on myself if I don't complete that one though. This next spread is the alphabet challenge. This is a spread that is pretty popular, so I just wanted to try it too and see how far I can get with it. I've heard people say it can be pretty hard to find titles for the letters X and Z, but one person mentioned that for those letters, they were going to allow themselves to put a title that just includes the letter rather than starts with it, so I think I might do that as well. Here is where I can gather some statistics about the format of the books I read. So for each month, I will just write down how many physical, audio, and ebooks I read, as well as the total books I read each month. Then at the end of the year, I can total up each book format as well. The next spread is my books hauled spread. This one is pretty simple and there was not much to set up considering the year hasn't really started, but here I will just keep track of all the books I purchased in 2025. This spread is another one I'm excited for. This is going to be where I track all of my library reads both physically and on Libby. I will also look up the price of how much the book would have cost if I purchased it, and I'll be able to see how much money I saved by the end of the year by using my local library. You just saw me stall because I didn't have enough space for the title, but once again, I'm proud of myself for improvising instead of just giving up. Now that I'm looking at it, I probably should have made this a multiple page spread as well, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. Up next is my 5-star reads. This is another one that I can't really do much for until I start reading, but here I will just glue in the cover of each book that I end up rating 5 stars in 2025. I love learning new words while I'm reading. I don't know, it's just been something that has tickled my little brain since I learned to read. So I knew this was something I wanted to include in my journal, but I've only seen one other person do this in their reading journal, and that person was Devin Luu. Again, linked in the description if you want to check her out. My husband gave me the idea to set this up like a dictionary, and I love that, so here I am just going to write down the word and its meaning with possibly the pronunciation as well. We will see. I also wanted a place where I could write down the quotes I don't want to forget. I just drew out a few speech bubbles and I plan to write down the quotes as I come across them. The next spread is my book bracket spread. The setup of this spread was kind of all over the place, but I do love the end result, so I guess the mishaps were worth it. I just laid down a sticker for each month and put space for the title of the best book I read for each month. Those books will go head to head until I eventually have a spot for the best book of the year. All in my opinion, of course. right, we're nearing the end, I promise. Up next is the Days Read spread. Here I just drew out little calendars for each month of the year, and then I will color in a little dot for each day I read throughout the year. I would like to color code this so that way I can use it as a little visual for what books I was reading what days each month, but we will see what I end up doing with this one. I know, I spelled September wrong. I don't want to talk about it. Honestly, I'm not even going to cover it up. I'm just going to roll with it and remember my mistake for the rest of 2025. Here is my reading log. This is very similar to the reading logs we used to do as kids in elementary school. I'm just going to use this to track my reading, simple as that. I will write down the book title, when I started and when I finished it, and my rating for the book. There are enough spots for 50 plus books on here, so I shouldn't need another spread, but if I do, that's a good problem to have, right? I also think this spread, like all the others, will be useful to me when making other book-related videos. This is the final spread, my days I finished a book spread. I honestly wasn't sure if I wanted to include this one, hence why it's thrown in at the end, but I'm glad I ended up doing it. It will be a nice little hit of dopamine when I get to draw in a dot on the days that I finish a book. And if you stayed until the end, you get to see what I ended up doing with this card. I just decided to lay down a sheet of scrapbooking paper and I used washi tape to paste the card in while still being able to flip it over to read the message. On the left hand side, I decided to include some recent Polaroids I had just taken of my babies to include them in this journal. Here is a final flip through of my annual spreads for my 2025 reading journal. I'm planning to create little monthly wrap-ups as well as junk journal spreads throughout the year too, so hopefully you will see those sprinkled throughout my videos this year. Thank you so much for watching this video, and especially if you stuck through to the end. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you like me, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys in my next video. Happy New Year!